Does your company need a boost getting employees to understand that safety is a personal responsibility? Does your company struggle with recordable injuries and lost time accidents? If that's you, give our friends at Wagner Industrial Training Systems a call today at 717-479-1052. Wagner Industrial Training Systems offers a variety of safety and continuous improvement services, including forklift certification and behavioral-based safety training topics that include lockout tagout, machine guarding, PPE, respirable crystalline silica, and countless other topics. Does your company require first aid, CPR, or AED training? Wagner Industrial Training Systems has licensed instructors to cover those topics as well. What would life be like for your family if something happened to you today at work? Give the guys at Wagner Industrial Training Systems a call at 717-479-1052. Also, you can check them out at Facebook at Wagner Industrial Training Systems. All of our Going Yard podcast listeners will get 10% off of their first class just by mentioning that you heard this ad. So call today. Hey everybody, it is Sunday, and welcome to another wild card episode of Going Yard Podcast.
This one does not disappoint, my friend, at all.
No, there's two things I'm super passionate about besides my family, obviously. But it's baseball, and it's keeping yourself healthy, and whether it's nutrition or working out, I'm going to say both of them. There's two things I'm passionate about, and this is what this episode brings.
We have Alex Simone on the wild card episode tonight. He brings you information from all over, from health and nutrition to sleep, diet, workout program, no matter what level of talent you are currently at. And he also shares his fantastic story to where he's at right now.
Yep. So I know I say it a bunch of times in this episode, but I'm going to say it again. Check it out, SimoneBaseballPerformance.org. You will not be disappointed. And then hang on to the end of the episode. He'll give you all of his plugs. And enjoy this episode with Alex. All right. We are on the line with the owner and operator of Simone Baseball Performance, Alex Simone. Simone Baseball Performance is an organization that trains athletes in all aspects of baseball, from strength and agility to nutrition and mobility. Alex started his college career at Siena College and played his college ball at the University of West Alabama and La Roche College. After college, Alex signed a pro contract with the Washington Wild Things of the Frontier League. Since his baseball career, he has put his focus into his training and to his website, SimoneBaseballPerformance.org. Alex also has a podcast called the Simone Baseball Performance Podcast. Alex, thanks for coming on, man.
Happy to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. We're excited to talk about, I know we talked a little bit offline here. Love to get into your training, but we always start off by talking about your baseball life. I think a lot of people love to hear it. We got a lot of players that listen to this, whether they're in high school, college, or anywhere else. I mean, we had some former minor league players on here as well. I think a lot of people love hearing that part of the story. So if you don't mind, we'll dive into some questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey, Alex, this is Tyler. For all of our listeners out there, walk us through your experience out of high school, getting into college, going into Siena, and then on to West Alabama for us, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so it was a long road. I mean, I didn't start playing baseball till I was probably in like fifth grade or so. So I started really late. I guess my dad just didn't want to start me playing something that I didn't want to do. I played soccer actually when I was younger, so I didn't start playing till I was older. And I tried out for my seventh grade team, baseball team, and got cut. I wasn't good. And then I went out again, eighth grade year, and got cut again. And went out again in ninth grade and finally made the team. So wasn't very good, obviously, when I was younger. But as my high school years progressed, I got a lot better. And I had some good summers, played in travel ball in high school, and was decent my senior year. And then I went out for the team at Siena College, which is a Division I program, and got cut from there. So I sat out my entire freshman year, and then I just really started to train hard. That's when I really learned about working out and, got a lot better and transferred to a school down south, Division II school called University of West Alabama, and I played my freshman and sophomore year there. The first year I was there, we had a lot of players in front of me that were very good. We had a bunch of Ole Miss transfers, Mississippi State transfers, and best center fielder I ever played with, Ladarius Cole in center field. So I was an outfielder, so I didn't really have any opportunity to play that year. I understood that because I was, I took a whole year off, so I wasn't really in baseball shape, I guess. But the second year I came back, my sophomore year, I played really well in inter squads and thought I earned a starting spot. Didn't, play at all again that year, so I decided to transfer to LaRoche College, where I wish I went my freshman year. And, I had two the best years of my life. My junior, senior year, we won conference championships both years. I was a conference player, all conference player both years. We were one win away from going to the World Series my senior year, and I just had a great time there. So yeah, it's been a long road, and then from there I got the opportunity to sign a professional contract with the Washington Wild Things. So that was awesome. From all the coaches over the years that have told me that I wasn't good enough, which there was a lot. So
yeah.
And that just got me into what I'm doing now.
Can you before we go further past that, can you walk us through what led you to like the process of getting to professional ball? Like how did that happen?
Well, I mean, so my father and grandfather ran a professional baseball team in Syracuse, New York called the Syracuse Chiefs, which is a AAA team. They were a AAA affiliate for the Toronto Blue Jays and Washington Nationals. And I grew up at the baseball field when I was young, and I always wanted to be a professional baseball player. I never wanted to play really other sports, which obviously looking back now, I wish I played more sports when I was younger because I would have been a lot better off. But I just always wanted to be a professional baseball player. And then once I got to, ninth grade, I just said, that's what I want to do. And I made a bunch of sacrifices. I didn't go out with my friends because that would just, take away from an opportunity to get better. Like I became addicted to the process of getting better from my whole high school years to my college careers. I didn't go out as much in college. I didn't do any of that crazy party stuff as much just because I was obsessed with getting better. So it just started as a young age. I wanted to be a professional baseball player, and that, over the years, like I said, there was a bunch of coaches that told me I wasn't good enough or wasn't going to be good enough to play. And that just, that dream of playing professional baseball I wanted it even more when all these coaches told me I wasn't good enough. So, I was just addicted to the process of getting that contract, if that answers your question.
I'll tell you, I love hearing what you're saying, and because everybody knows like the Michael Jordan story, you know what I mean, where he got cut his freshman year of basketball in high school or whatever, and then everybody knows the rest of the story, you know what I mean? So it's always great when you can hear. I guess everybody loves an underdog, you know what I mean? Like, but nothing in this world is better than hard work and determination, if you ask me. And baseball is one of those games that provide you that. You know what I mean? It's not one of those where if you play basketball, you can just be one of the guys on the court and two of the guys score 30 points a game and the team's good. You know what I mean? But baseball is one of those where
you can't fake it.
You can't fake it, and you can't hide nobody on the field. You know what I mean? You can't tuck somebody away. So what you're saying, I think, should resonate with everybody out there, no matter what level they're playing at right now. That doesn't mean that's where you're going to end up at, 10 years from now.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. You don't have to be a certain size to play baseball at all. So there's anybody can play and anybody can get better. I'll be the first to tell you I wasn't good and I got a lot better. So that's what kind of led me to where I'm at now with the company I started, training baseball players and in all aspects of their game. Just because I want to provide them a great free resource that I wasn't provided when I was younger. So
how long after you were done playing did you jump into, coaching and doing the training that you're currently doing now?
Well, honestly, so I played in this California Winter League, it's called, and I led the league in hitting, and that's what got me my pro contract. And once I got the contract, I was kind of I was older. I was 23, so in the baseball world, obviously.
Yeah.
This was my passion, training athletes. They were both my passion, playing baseball and training athletes, especially once I got later in my college career. And I started training athletes immediately when I got released from the Wild Things. I had a couple other offers, and I knew I wanted to train athletes. I was ready to move on. And I actually went back home 2 days after I got released from Washington, PA, drove back home, and one of the kids that used to see me train hard when I played actually asked me what I was doing and if I would train him this summer. He was a college kid, and I didn't know how. I knew I wanted to do this. I wanted to train athletes, but I didn't know where to start. And he, said, "Hey, can you train me?" And I trained him, and he got amazing results. And he's actually a professional baseball player now, playing in the American Association. And
Nice.
The rest is history. Do a good job with one person, or they all come.
Well, on that note, I obviously you said he went to play professionally, but what type of athletes are you working with now on a daily basis? Is it more the high school? Is it the college? Is it professional? Is it a mix of all the above?
Yeah, so all the above. This off season, I worked with a mix of high school, college. You only have the college guys for a month. I trained a couple of guys in the area that played college baseball in Syracuse, New York. But a lot more pros, which it's fun. It's always fun to train the pro guys. But I had a good amount of pros this off season, and now currently I'm actually in Minnesota right now, coaching in the Northwoods Collegiate League, and I'm training a good amount of kids in this league as well. I'm the hitting coach, so I'm at the field, working with the guys. They're swinging, all that kind of stuff. And then in the morning, tomorrow morning, we got groups of training groups. So I'm training all the guys up here right now.
You're doing a little bit of everything. That's one thing that when Dan and I were talking and we spotted you, some of the stuff you were posting on Instagram, that was the one thing that really captured our eye about what you're doing is you're not just solely focused on one thing in the training world, which I think is super important for people to know. But can you just talk a little bit about the types of training that you are doing with these athletes when you have them?
Well, yeah, I think it all depends on the athlete. Like if I have a pro guy, like I had a professional pitcher that was a number one or first round draft pick, and his training or any pro athlete training is really specialized. So I'm looking at their mechanics and designing an individualized program for them. All the athletes that I train have individualized training programs, just fit for their body and their needs. And then, high school athletes, more general, they have their own individualized warm up, but for the most part, all the high school athletes need the same thing. They just need to get stronger. Then when they get stronger, they're going to get more powerful, faster, all that kind of stuff. So I do a lot of strength work with the younger beginner kids, just because I've seen fantastic results in speed and power, like I said, once they've gotten stronger. So that's what I focus on with the younger kids. College kids, a little more specialized, and but I only have them really for a month at a time, usually in the winter, like for December, that month of break they have. And then the pro guys, we have a long time. They do a lot of power and speed stuff, so I don't do much strength work with them. They're still doing a heavy lift later in the week, but usually the pro guys all specialized, all bioregulated, so their output is huge. So once their output decreases in any exercise, any set, we cut it because obviously they're not going to get any more powerful from doing stuff with little effort or anything like that.
Gotcha. Well, I wanted to touch on the strength part of it because if I knew what I knew now, back when I was in high school, I would have changed a lot of things. I was always a guy in high school that I was never the best player, whether it was baseball or football or anything like that, but I played a huge role on the team, I felt, because I didn't suck, but at the same time, I could always have gotten better. And the strength portion of it was always a big thing for me because the weight room was optional in the summer. For football,
Wink,
and
wink,
it
wink,
was
wink.
optional, and I feel like, and I took advantage of those words, optional, big time.
Most kids do.
And
Most kids
now at 34 years old, if I was lifting then like I'm lifting now, it'd be a completely different story. I probably would have had a better career in something when it comes to sports. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of hitting the weight room? I know a lot of people say it's not good for someone that's so young, but we're talking about high school kids or even college. I mean, what's the importance of making your body strong?
Well, yeah, it's important for especially the young kids. I mean, first off, like if you're afraid to train as a young athlete, I mean, if you sprinted, it's just like you're going to experience. So like all these kids are experiencing so many crazy forces in their life nowadays. Sprinting is a lot more taxing on your nervous system than a 25-pound dumbbell goblet squat. So I don't understand that whole thing with the growth plates and all that whole conversation. I don't want to get into all that, but I think it's important for high school athletes to train, especially or younger college athletes. They need to train, especially in high school. And I've talked about this a bunch of times on Instagram, Twitter, everything. You have to take advantage of your teenage years. Especially if you're, I'm just talking about baseball players here, but this applies to everybody. Once the athlete goes to college, like if you're a baseball player, you don't really have much time to dedicate to really, really training hard, minus like a couple months out of the year, like, November, December. Because then, once you get back to school in January, for the majority of the college athletes, they're playing right away. They don't really have much time to train. And then, they're going to play summer ball and then they have to go back for fall ball. So they really I wish more high school athletes would take advantage of their their teenage years in terms of training. It's super important for their overall development. Like I sound like a broken record here talking about strength, but it's the key. Like if you get stronger, like I said, you're going to get more powerful. You're going to get faster,
and you're not going to have as many. You're also helping yourself from getting injuries down the road as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've been coaching high school ball here locally for the past 6 years, and I would say strength training is always. Well, we're not a strong team, and if you're not a big guy, if you're not 6'5" and naturally gifted to be 200 pounds, I mean, you've got to get stronger if you want to compete at a higher level. And we really made it a point of emphasis this year to, make sure that we stayed 35, 40 minutes after each practice to get to the weight room and do some of these things. You know what I mean? Because it's not done enough.
Even if like I wish high school athletes would know too. It's not like if you're in season, you don't have to be in the weight room for hours at a time. Like you can get so much benefit out of doing a 20 to 30 minute, like little micro session. That's huge. There's no really excuse for not training in season or, in my opinion, in season or out of season. Like if you're not doing it, then you just, if you don't know, I feel like the resources are out there now. You should know. And I mean, if you're making an excuse, I just don't think you want to get better. You don't know. Exactly. I don't know. That's just my opinion on it.
Exactly.
I don't know what else to say there.
No, that's perfect because you got to be blunt and you got to be honest, especially with teenagers these days when they could play Fortnite for 4 hours. When you could just really take 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
You could take 30 minutes and just do, you could do push-ups and sit-ups and, all kinds of exercise band. You could do tons of stuff just to get yourself physically better, and it doesn't take forever, like you said. And unfortunately, they're too busy playing Fortnite and not looking at your Instagram page to figure out what they should be doing. You know what I mean?
Let's change that.
So, yeah, we should change
Thanks for the
that.
plug.
So, no, honestly, it's truthful. But there's one thing on there that I think, and in the baseball world, for anybody out there who's looking to get recruited, and you have a lot of information on it, is the 60-yard dash time. It's probably one of the biggest measurables next to your throwing velocity in all of baseball. Can you just walk us through a little bit about some of the keys that you think are important about your 60-yard time and how to get better at it?
Yeah, so that's the big one for me. Well, that was big for me when I played. So I ran, I don't know if your listeners are familiar with my page or anything, but every time I talk about the 60-yard dash on my account, make a post about it, I usually, talk about my story in regarding to that. And I ran an 8.3 my senior year of high school. And by my senior year of college, I went to a bunch of different pre-draft workouts. Some major league teams have pre-draft workouts at their field. I went to the Twins, the Mets, the Reds. And at the Twins one, I ran a 6.42,
wow,
6-yard dash. So, I mean, I always thought when I was younger that, you're either born with speed or not. That's what, coaches always told me. And the more I dug into, more training content and experimented with these different training methods, it really, my time went down. But the biggest thing that lowered it, and I talk about it all the time, mobility. I'm super, super stiff. And when I was able to improve range of motion in certain areas, mobility, flexibility, I was able to get into stronger positions with my sprint. I improved ankle dorsiflexion, which is big in terms of sprinting speed. And, the other thing too, I improved my acceleration mechanics from sled drags, heavy sled drags. I talk about it all the time. It really, really worked for me. Those were the two things. Obviously the strength work too, the power work, that's super important as well. But, those two were the big ones. And obviously this isn't just done for 1 week. This was done for a year or two. So.
And can you just talk about some of the shoulder exercises, because that's a huge point that Dan and I really want to try and bring to people, our listeners, is, this isn't something you just wake up and do once a week. It's, you got to pick 3-4 of these things and do them 3, 4, 5 times a week if you really want to see improvement. But for us, can you really talk to our listeners about some of the arm care exercises and shoulder workout stuff that you really have a great knowledge of that you've been using with your athletes?
Yeah, so first off, I think the best thing for arm care is full body, I hate to say it again, but full body strength. If you're strong everywhere, I think that's the best arm care you can do. You need to be strong, full body. But besides that, obviously the specific arm care exercises are really going to be based off the individual and what their body needs. But, some of the, generally speaking, like some of the drills I use with pretty much everybody, or I feel everybody should do, are, you need to get your shoulder blade needs to upwardly rotate properly when you get to a position of ball release. So that might be, or ball release when you're lay back, your shoulder blade needs to upwardly rotate properly to accommodate those positions. If it doesn't, it's going to just lead to instability. So we need to do that through different exercises, like any kind of low trap exercise, serratus drill, upper trap. I use I posted on my Instagram account, a lot of wall slides with lift off, great scapular control drill. I think those are great for everybody. I love serratus wall slides. I love push-ups. But I think a lot of people do them wrong.
Yeah.
You need to focus on protracting at the top. And I'm trying to think what else. So any kind of serratus drill, any kind of wall slide, any kind of what am I forgetting here? Oh, low trap exercise. I really like the prone one-arm trap raise. I like to do it on the table, incline bench. You can do it just bent over. I also like the row, rotate, and press for cuff strength. Obviously, that's the awesome one that a lot of guys can get into a great position on. I feel like the arm care stuff, all the arm care drills that I use, there's little to absolutely no weight used on them. But the problem is a lot of kids don't perform them properly. It's really tough to have them do it the first time because the lower body positioning on those is huge. But if anybody wants any more information on that, just email me or DM me or check my page out, because I actually just posted a video a couple of days ago of the wall slide with liftoff that is great. You guys can use it. Any kids that are listening can use it at the field before they pick up a ball and start throwing, and that would be great. Because over the season you're going to lose scapular upward rotation, and if that happens, then usually it's going to lead to a labral tear, cuff tear, etc. So we want to keep your shoulder blade moving well over the course of the season. Yeah,
and Alex, I have we're going to definitely go back into kind of along the same lines we're talking about. The other big thing I'm huge on in my life right now, because besides strength training, the biggest thing that has helped me in my life, I lost 60 pounds. I got off of all types of medicines. I was on so many prescription drugs for autoimmune diseases and stuff like that I no longer have anymore. Well, I don't have to take medicine for them anymore. The biggest thing was nutrition. And I know nutrition's a big thing. And what I've learned throughout my life, and which most people probably realize, you can't outwork a bad diet. So I want to hear how valuable you think that what you put in your body as fuel, how important that is for you.
Well, yeah. First off, congrats. That's awesome that you lost 60 pounds. That's great. That obviously takes a lot of hard work to do, for sure. And nutrition was actually my first love, really. That's what I started actually a nutrition blog before I even started any of what I'm doing now. And I love nutrition because I was an overweight kid, and then I became a skinny kid, and then I finally, found out how to eat properly and added some muscle. Mm-hmm. So nutrition's super important, and I agree with everything you said. You can't outwork a bad diet. It's super important, and I'm trying to preach that now with the guys that I'm training right now, because the Northwoods League, if anybody knows, is a really grueling league. It's 72 games and I don't know how many days, in 70 days maybe. So we play every single day for 3 months. So these guys are gonna, they're all worried about losing weight, and I'm preaching it over and over to them that they need to eat, every 2 to 4 hours based off performance, and they're performing every day. They're training in the morning. They're doing all this early work. They're, playing the whole game. You're going to go hours without eating. So they need to prepare for the food. So nutrition is huge, in terms of maintaining weight in season and putting on muscle off season, or, putting on muscle in season, whatever it may be. You need to eat, I feel, all earth grown nutrients, which your body needs to, build muscle, repair, any, muscle tissue breakdown, whatever it may be, restore glycogen levels. It's super important that you're providing your body with the, correct nutrients. So giving you an example, post game, if you went 4 hours without eating, you played a whole game and it was a grueling game, then you need to, provide your body with, you need to restore glycogen levels and repair muscle tissue. So you need, some kind of good protein. You need some kind of good carbs. So, I really like fruit because it's super simple. It's digested really fast. Post workout, that's super important. If you miss that meal, then you're going to lose a considerable amount of weight, I feel like. So, nutrition's everything, and it's not, a lot of the parents, come to me and they're like, Johnny, I want Johnny to put on 20 pounds. I'm just going to keep giving him ice cream, pizza. No, that's not what your body needs to build muscle. Or to grow. It wants earth grown nutrients that are put on this earth for it to eat. So, by you providing your body with the best foods possible, that's going to give your body, the best chance to grow the best results that you want to see. So
perfect. Thank you.
I'll tell you, it's one of those things for me that the nutrition is probably it's probably a bigger excuse than not working out. Honestly, people have more excuses for not eating healthier than they do for working out. You know what I mean? And you're talking about professional athletes that have a commitment prior to the game, hours before, treatments, workouts. They have the game. They have media obligations for local newspapers, radios, whatever. How do you help them make sure that they do get the proper nutrition and have the meals prepared ahead of time? Or, how do you work that out with them to make sure that it's getting done though, Alex, if you could?
I do a lot of different things, honestly. Every kid's different, so you got to find what clicks for them. If anybody knows me, I'm a pretty straight shooter. I'm not going to BS a kid. If he's telling me if he's lying to me, first off, that he's not, or that he's eating such and such, I can tell. Yeah. Two, if they don't want, if I have, every client I work with, first of all, I give a meal guide. So if I'm working with a client and his goal is to put on 25 pounds in 3 months, whatever it may be, and he only puts on 2 pounds after a month, then I know something's wrong. And I'm saying, hey, listen, I'm giving you 100% of my effort to, reach your goal. Why aren't you eating? And they'll tell me, they'll give me some excuse, and I'll just be like, okay, well, it's not going to work. In terms of training, I want results, and it needs to be, that's a huge part of the process. If I'm working with anybody online, or if I'm working with anybody, in my in the gym, one-on-one. So, it's just me holding them accountable. They know that I'm a pretty straight shooter. And, if something's not getting done properly, I'll tell them, and it needs to be fixed.
I think that's huge. Oh, good.
No, I was just saying, I don't really, there's no, sugarcoating anything anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like I used to do that when I first started training people, and it never worked. So I need to, just getting in the minds of getting in the minds of these kids, and, finding out what clicks for them. Like some kids, I need them they're all on Snapchat. So I have some of them actually send me their meals on Snapchat.
Mm-hmm.
So at the times with the timestamp, so I know when they're eating them. Like that's if that's what it takes to get the results that they want and I want, then that's what needs to be done. So it's all different based on the kid, but just holding them accountable. If they want the result, they know that I try to preach it to them, that's a big, big part of the process.
I think that's it's really awesome because we all know if you join a gym, it's always good to have that gym buddy, because if you know that, hey, I'm going to be waking up at 5 a.m. or whatever, it's so much easier to get there when you know that someone may be there. I think that's huge. But what you said is you want to see results. That's kind of, with all these programs where you can go and, hey, buy my DVD set for, $100 and guaranteed to lose weight in 25 days or something like that. You buy this stuff and you never hear from them again because you bought it and you're done. With you, it's like, hey, you know what? I know you want to see results, but guess what? I want to see results because this is why I'm here. I want to see you have results, because if you don't have results, then I'm not doing my job. So the staying accountable is awesome.
Well, yeah, now I'm not even taking clients on that aren't bought in 100%. And I'll know that from like the call or the assessment process I have. Like they know that I'm not here to, make an extra, whatever, a couple bucks. Like if you want to get after it with me, and get results, we're going to get the results. But if you don't, if there's any doubt in your mind, it ain't happening. Mm-hmm. That's just how it is with me.
Now for you, Alex, you have all these, you're doing all these different things. For you, how many times a week do you recommend that you get your client in to work with them on this or that? And then talk about like the rest period that you recommend between your workouts, overall general health rest, and between workout rest as well.
So I think it depends on the athlete and then the season. If I'm in season with an athlete, like these guys right now, they're playing every single day, or pro guy, like probably 2 times a week, 2 quality training sessions a week, or maybe 3 if we can. I think that's plenty. Just because I think people forget in season that, you're swinging a bat, throwing a baseball. Those are 2 of the fastest motions in all sports, and they're going to require a good amount of demand. And sprinting, we totally forgot sprinting, one of the most taxing movements in all sports, again, on the nervous system. So, they're getting a ton of work done, so we can't kill them in the weight room. So 2 to 3 times a week in season. I think that goes for high school guys too. Depending on, this is generally speaking, because up in New York, I don't know if you guys know, but it was snowing a lot this year. So we got in.
Yeah, we got some too.
I got 4. Yeah, so I got 4 training sessions a week in season with the high school guys because they weren't really in season for long. So that's that. Probably off season, it depends. Probably like a beginner, I would say 3 times a week would be great. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, whatever it may be. And then the college and pro guys, I go, 5 to 6 probably a week. And it depends on the split. Like some guys I'll do upper lower split. The pro guys, I usually do a high low split. So I'll have them do high intensity day Monday, which would be all the movements that are really, really taxing to their nervous system. So sprinting, med ball throws, jumps, maybe their skill work as well. Their skill work goes in with that too. That's super important. And then that would be, a high day. And then a low day would be, all movements that are not really taxing to the nervous system. So probably like upper body, more upper body work, or like aerobic mobility based stuff, mobility circuits. I like those a lot. And then we just progress. So like Wednesday would be another high day, Thursday low day, and then Friday another high day, and then Thursday or Friday or Saturday, Sunday usually off. Or guys can do, some of the guys the college guys like to do, arm days where they just pump up their arms, which I'm totally fine with. Just because it's going to promote blood flow throughout their entire body, improve recovery. So I want them doing something on that sixth day, and then Sunday completely off. So that's their seventh day. That would be like a pro or college guy. So in the off season, if that gives you any more.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
Definitely.
That is awesome, man. I tell you, it's a huge wealth of knowledge for anybody to start piecing together a workout program for themselves to get into.
Yeah, for sure. And the other thing is too, we're kind of checking out your site, and we got some not your Instagram, and I saw on here, I love it, the top 10 supplements of all time. Number 1, whole nutrient dense food. Number 2, sleeping 7 to 10 hours. Number 3, whole nutrient dense food. Number 4, sleeping 7 to 10 minutes. So we talked about the food. Let's talk about sleeping. I mean, a lot of people don't think about that. They think that, okay, well, I'm going to be, you think of this Wall Street kind of mentality where, hey, I don't need to sleep, or Silicon Valley, I don't need to sleep. I'm a bigger performer when I don't have it, when I don't sleep, because I'm ahead of the game. When it comes to your health, you're not ahead of the game when you don't have sleep. So can you don't have to talk long about it, but I think it's an important thing to talk about.
Yeah, sleep is important. You need 7 to 10 hours if you want to be the best you possibly can be on the field, or you want to get the most out of your training. I think people understand that your body's going to release so many natural, so many growth hormones, testosterone when you're sleeping, which obviously is going to, provide that's where you grow. I mean, that's where you're going to grow when you sleep. So it's important. I'm going to be the first to tell you that I don't get 7 to 10 hours of sleep a night. I wish I did. But I don't. I try to, a couple times a week, but when I played, that was definitely something that was something I needed to do. Like I said in the beginning, I didn't go out and party. I slept 8 to 10 hours because that's what I needed to fully recover from my workout and give me the best opportunity to go hard the next day. So that's something I needed to do, or that's something that somebody needs to do if they want to be a professional baseball player, or whatever it may be. That's what needs to happen.
That's awesome. I love hearing some of that stuff, and it's always hard to convince people that there's you can bust your tail all the time, but you've still got to rest and recover in the middle of all of it, because you're only as good as your body allows you to be, especially when it comes to being a professional athlete, because your livelihood is based on your body performing. It's not like you're just going to get to go out and do what you're doing if your body's broken down and you're on the injured list.
Yeah, which is happening a lot this year.
Yep.
Now,
exactly. You're not going to get strong. You're not going to get stronger. Everybody thinks you're going to get stronger in the weight room. You get stronger in the recovery. That's where you're tearing down your muscle. You're going to get stronger from sleeping and eating, or you're going to build muscle from eating and sleeping. That's what I meant. Sorry.
No, it's awesome. It's great. It's great information for the average person who doesn't really have a clue, or they're ninth grade, 10th grade son, that the high school's offering this workout program. I don't know if I really feel like driving them there. Well, you probably should think about it. You know what I mean? Get your kid off the couch in the summer and get them there.
Exactly.
And, that's the ones we talked about a lot of things. I really want you to jump in a little bit about some of the speed training stuff and the agility work that you're talking about, how important it is to do speed training and stuff like that. Because I know you brought it up and we didn't really talk a lot about it. So if you could jump on some of that for us, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like I said with my 60-yard dash, I love speed training. I love using, if any of your listeners follow me, I love using multiple sprint start variations like push-up starts, falling starts, mountain climber starts. All of these are just going to start you at an optimal angle for acceleration. I love doing that. Heavy sled drags and, heavy sled pushes, heavy sled push sprints, heavy sled sprints. All those are great, for getting you faster. Again, if you're a younger athlete, getting stronger should be the number one goal. If you get stronger, you're going to be able to apply more force on the ground, which is going to propel you forward, which is going to lengthen your stride, which is going to allow you to take fewer steps, which if you take fewer steps, you're faster, you're going to, be faster. So, I love talking speed. I actually, I don't know if you guys saw, I actually put together a free 8-week speed program.
Yeah.
That I should have probably charged for, because I feel like it's awesome.
It's right on your
I'm actually
right on your Instagram page, right on the top. Yep.
Yep, right on my top, right on the top. So if anybody wants to get that, go check that out. It's free. But yeah, that covers everything. All my favorite speed drills, and it has a lot of mechanical work too. I think people forget that like A skips, B skips, those are huge in terms of like posture, and those are great drills that shouldn't be overlooked. So that all the mobility based stuff's in there, all the skips, all the different sprint start variations, and they're programmed properly with rest. I think that's another big deal with speed training that so many coaches mess up, that I hate going to high school practices or seeing a college teams practice, and they're running people to death without any they're giving their guys insignificant or they're not giving their athletes enough rest. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry.
Running shouldn't be a punishment though. Like in a way, I mean, like I get, but like if you make it functional, it can be very beneficial.
Yeah. If you're trying to get faster and you're not giving yourself adequate recovery, then you're training in the lactic zone. So when you're, everybody knows when their coach runs them to the death and their legs are, pumped with blood, like you're not getting like it's impossible to get faster in a lactic environment. So you need to go for full recovery. All the recovery protocols are in my program. I actually wrote the program. Sorry, I should have given a plug here with my partner Jason Kanzler as well, who's a coach in the Cape Cod League right now.
Oh wow, very good baseball league.
Nice. Yeah. And I saw you just interviewed him on your podcast recently as well. I just saw that. But I want to talk more about your podcast here shortly. But before I do, explosive power. I see all over your Instagram page developing power, and you're using the medicine ball a lot, which I love. And it's actually Tyler and I are actually going to be coaching our daughter's softball team next year, and
wish us luck.
Wish us luck. And yeah, so we both have 10-year-old daughters, so it should be fun. But even at that age, the medicine ball, developing power, explosive power with the medicine ball is huge, and we'd like to be able to start utilizing that as well. I it's at a younger age, but that's a really cool tool to use. Can you kind of talk about what you use the medicine ball for? And whenever you look on your page, wherever it says the word power, I see this ball like all the time. So I want to kind of hear it from you.
Yeah. So like what we know about power or developing power is that it's very plane specific. So I use the medicine ball a lot because it gets the athlete in the plane that they use on the field. Usually the frontal or transverse plane used on the field is used on the field predominantly in baseball. So that's the plane I like to train in. So, obviously doing rotational medicine ball throws, variations that you guys have seen probably allow me to do that. So, I like them a lot. I think the big problem with the power stuff that I see, or the medicine ball throws that I see, is athletes go way too heavy. So like if I'm training a pro athlete, this off season, and I train some pretty strong and powerful athletes, they're all using a 4 to 6 pound medicine ball. They never went over that for rotational work. And then, for slams or stomps, whatever you want to call them, when they're, doing an overhead throw into the floor, or a backward overhead throw for distance, they're using a little more weight, probably like 8 to 12 pounds. But I've never gone over 12 in terms of stomps. And then I've never gone over, I went to 8 for one athlete for a rotational throw, but that was like he's an elite pro. So usually 4 to 6 pounds. If that's the one thing I could start to get off on a tangent. I don't know if I answered your question, but that's the one thing I do want to make clear is that, less is more for sure for the power stuff. Cause you want to make sure that, the speed of movement and the quality is there. That's always the most important thing when you're training for power. If you're not, jumping high, or you're not jumping as high as you were in the first couple sets, you're not throwing the medicine ball as hard as you were the first couple sets, then you need to cut it because you're not, improving your power at that point.
Right. Yeah. It's the quality over quantity. It's kind of like if you're doing a squat or a deadlift and you just want to throw on, hey, I need to have 3 plates on here just so I fit in with the gym.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You're going to be hurting tonight, tomorrow, and the next day because you don't have the right form. So, yeah, that's important. That makes total sense. So.
Yeah, I really, I mean, if whoever listens to this doesn't check out what you're talking about, they're shortchanging themselves. They're shortchanging their child. They're just not understanding how important some of this stuff is, because it's mind blowing how beneficial what you're providing to people can be. And you don't even need to go invest thousands of dollars in a gym membership for some of the equipment you're talking about, right, Alex? I mean, like some of these things you can just go buy at the local Walmart for a few bucks, really.
Yeah, it's not like you don't need. I mean, you can train anywhere. First off, you don't need any. I mean, all the clients I work with remotely, which is only a select few, they none of them have any like special equipment. They all train in commercial gyms, so there's nothing. You don't need anything special. But I think the medicine balls that I use, the Perform Better balls, they're like $40-$60, and they'll last you if they break. Usually, you just call Perform Better; they'll send you a new one. So, yeah, they're cheap. Everything. I mean, you don't need anything special to train. No special equipment. As long as you have a barbell. If you have a barbell, boxes to jump on, dumbbells, and med balls, you're all set. You got plenty.
Right on. All right. So, Alex, you also host the Simone Performance Podcast. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing on there and what types of people you're interviewing?
Yeah, so I just wanted to provide another avenue for people to improve their game, get better. I wanted to just interview as many people as I could that would provide value to anybody who listened. That's my whole goal, with my whole company, Simone Baseball Performance. Just give people or kids or anybody, coaches, the best free content I possibly can, to help them improve their game. So that was just another avenue that I'm, working on. It's really tough now just because I'm training, 20 to 30 athletes on my team. I'm, in the gym, and then I'm, working with. I'm the hitting coach on the team too, so I'm working with their swing, like I said, and doing all the other coaching stuff we need to do in terms of bringing players in and all that early work and all that stuff. So it's I haven't produced an episode in a few weeks, but it's getting tough, but I need to. A lot of people are liking it, so I need to bring it back for sure. But that's kind of what I'm doing on that.
Yeah, and I apologize. I said Simone Performance Podcast, Simone Baseball Performance Podcast. I apologize for that. And where can they find that?
That's on iTunes and SoundCloud.
Okay.
As of now, I haven't really expanded it yet.
Perfect.
Real quick before we wrap up and all that, and I just want to let you, for a minute, if you can, or a couple minutes here, just talk a little bit about hitting for us. I mean, there's a million videos of, hitting information out there. For the average casual person out there who's trying to work with their kid at home or, any of that, where do you think they should start at with their kid on some hitting technique and maybe some mindset, stuff like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I don't really like to talk mechanics because everybody's different.
Yeah, I agree.
Everybody's going to need different things. In fact, I really haven't done any mechanical work with any of the players on my team this year. All we've talked about really is mindset, approach, and all that, because that's huge. Obviously we're working little kinks with guys' swings, but I mean, I'm pretty sure we're number one or number 2 in the league in hitting, knock on wood. So, it's working with the guys, just preaching mindset, approach. I think if you're a young kid though, I mean, these guys, like the guys that I'm working with now are all, at Power 5 schools, and they're all studs. So, I'm fortunate enough, all these guys have a really good swing. So now it's a matter of just, working with them approach wise and, mentally, finding what works for them, cues that work for them. But, if you're a young kid, I guess starting out or a parent, I wouldn't get too wrapped up in the mechanics. I would just let your kid be athletic. For me, I never had a great swing, I don't think, but I found barrel a lot. I was comfortable with what I was doing. And, it was all mindset for me. So, I mean, I would just if you're starting out, I would just let your kid be athletic and, have him do what's comfortable for him. I mean, if that's obviously, that might not be good and you might have to change some things, but I think starting out just being athletic and, let him grow into his body and get stronger, and then his body will find, what works for him. I feel like, I mean, that might be a loaded statement, but, that I think if a lot of parents would stop paying for a hitting coach, spending thousands of dollars for a hitting coach, and just let their kid, be athletic and, maybe go or, maybe work with somebody that's, lets their kid be athletic, but at the same time, works little kinks here and there. I think that's the best thing. I know probably didn't answer that the best, but,
no. And for me,
I think,
for me, Alex, you kind of hit the nail on the head. And what I love, honestly, about it is that hitting is a mindset. You know what I mean? And if you don't go up there in your mind with an objective and a goal, the chances of being successful are going to be diminished greatly. You know what I mean? And you're talking about guys competing at the highest level that they can possibly play at. So, and if you're if you're 8 years old, you've got to go up there with a mindset. And if you're 18 years old, you got to go up there with a mindset. If you're 28 years old, you go up there with a mindset. So that's something I don't want to be lost in what you're saying.
Yeah. So I think like hitting wise, regardless of your swing mechanics or anything like that, obviously the swing mechanics are important, but the one thing that a couple things that all baseball players or hitters should be doing before they go up to the plate that I think is super important, and I'm preaching it with all the guys, is you need to time the guy. You need to get, I would lead off a lot later in my career. So I'd get, I'd be on the line timing the guy when he's warming up before the game, 20, 30, 40 times, whatever it may be, every pitch. So, I'm trying to preach that with the guys here. Timing's huge. Every kid can do that regardless of the swing. And I like to take it as before you step in the box, it's like a test. So, what I wanted to know when I was playing is where is he locating? Is he locating in or out? So if he's locating out, and just me personally, I had a tough time with the outside pitch, so I'll just stand closer to the plate for that at bat. Or if he's got a really good curveball, I have to be aware of that. Or if he has a bad curveball, a bad off-speed pitch, and he can't throw it for a strike, then I'm going to just eliminate it. Every time I see it out of his hand, I'm going to take it. Or if it's bad, I'm going to hammer it. So it's just all that stuff is super important. And if you can check all those off the list and where he's going to, or how he's going to attack you. So say I hit a home run on a fastball, I know next pitch, first at bat, it's a good chance I'm going to get an off speed pitch and I can sit on that curveball changeup and hammer it. If it's a hanger. So it's like a test when you get into the box. You can't just get in there. And I would do this when I was younger because I didn't know any better, and just swing aimlessly and just, think that he's going to find your barrel. Like, you can't do that. You have to, know how he's going to attack you and attack him. It's got to be, it's a battle, really.
Perfect. Alex, now where do you see the future of Simone baseball performance and your career in the baseball world? Where do you see yourself in the future?
Well, I didn't coach a lot, honestly. I coached a summer team a little bit as soon as I got out of pro ball. But, this summer, this has been great the last couple of weeks here. I love working with these guys. I love coaching. And I love training, too. I love working with kids. I just want to be, coaching in some capacity. I'm always going to train athletes. And I really, really like coaching. I really like working with kids and, helping them get better. So, I don't know where I'm going to be, honestly, or what's going to happen. I just want to honestly just help the most kids I possibly can, in whatever, capacity that might be. If that's at the college level, I don't know, or, private sector. I don't know where I'm going to be, to be honest, but, I just want to just keep helping as many kids as I possibly can.
I like that answer.
I do. I mean, that's why we do what we do. That's why I've coached high school baseball. It's been one of the most rewarding things in my life, just watching kids grow up before your eyes. And when you see them have success on the things that you've really, focused working on, and then they translate it to the game, that's more rewarding than anything that you could ever get. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I think, I've been offered a couple of times to work at the professional level. like different major league teams and train some of their guys. But honestly, like there's nothing better for me than, you know, helping that high school kid, because I know what they're going through. It's not just, you know, baseball, it's, you know, life. And, you know, you're able to mold these kids and, you know, build them up and make them feel good about themselves and, you know, get them stronger and more powerful and, you know, see it directly, you know, correlate to them improving their game, improving their lifestyle. And, you know, that's something I always want to just train. I love training high school kids, college kids. It's just great. There's nothing better than that.
I agree. I'm envious of the work that you're doing, my man. Honestly, I really appreciate it. The baseball world is better because you're involved in it. That's for sure. You know, for all our listeners out
Appreciate
there, if you can you just? I mean, we've talked about your Instagram page, but can you just let them know the title of that, your webpage, if you're doing YouTube videos or anything like that, where they can find you at on social media to get all your content?
Yeah, so I have a lot of different channels here. Twitter, I'm Simone Baseball, all one. And then my Instagram, which I don't know why I made it so long, but I don't even know why I called it that, but I did. Simone, SIMONE, _ baseball _ performance. That's my Instagram. And then I have a Snapchat, but I'm not really on there that much, to be honest. Podcast, like you said, Simone Baseball Performance Podcast. And I do have a YouTube channel, but honestly, I don't even know what it's called. I think it's just my name, Alex Simone or Simone Baseball, to be honest. And I think that's it, really.
All right, awesome. Well, we're gonna make sure we tag you and when we put the episode out.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll make sure that this gets out to all our people. And I think this is going to be very, very valuable for a lot of our listeners. And I have to ask you the question we ask to everyone that we interview. This is a big thing for me because I'm a musician and I feel
He's a singer, really.
I'm a singer. I'm just kidding. Come on,
just picking on you. You're more than
Come on, I play guitar and piano and drums, all this stuff. Anyway, but I feel like music really tells the story outside of the story. So I would like to know if you had one at bat in the major leagues, what would you choose for your walkout song to the plate?
Yeah, so this isn't very. This is probably. I got to go with this walkout because it was my walkout for 4 years of college, and it's "I'm a Boss" by Meek Mill that got me, you know, fired up, made me feel like I was 10 feet tall in the box and I could hit anything. So that was the jam for sure.
Not bad.
That's awesome.
That's great, man. Well, we appreciate it. Make sure all of our listeners go out and check out all of your social media. And we hope to have you back on sometime soon, man. Keep doing what you're doing and inspiring people to do what they need to do to get to the next level. I think it's great.
I would love to. I had a great time, guys.
Yeah,
thanks for having me.
Thank you. I know you're super busy. You're coaching. You're doing all this stuff. So we really appreciate you taking the time to fit us into your schedule. And we wish you the best of luck. And we'll be following along with everything you're putting up. And trust me, I'll be spreading the word to the guys I work with to make sure that they're seeing what you're doing because it's great stuff.
Sounds great, guys. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. Take care.
Have a good one. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that deep interview, man. I loved it, and I think you guys probably enjoyed it as well.
That is us going deep into all things baseball, as our slogan says right there. But
yeah, for sure.
honestly.
Doesn't get better than that. All right. Well, you guys, as always, subscribe to us on all things social media at Going Yard Podcast. Get involved in the conversation. We love it. We're also on Twitter at Going Yard and the number 2. We love the feedback we're getting from everybody. We definitely want to do the fan question podcast episode where we have a fan come on, not a question, but a segment. I think that'll be really neat. So just keep plugging away and giving your feedback on whatever we post, and we enjoy that. And maybe we'll have you on.
Yeah, hit us up on Facebook there. Post to our timeline. Make sure you share the stuff we're putting out on there. That way we can keep the conversation growing and bringing more people into it. You can find all our content As always, on iTunes, like us, subscribe to us, leave a 5-star review when you're on there. You can check out all our episodes on Podbean as well, along with pictures, videos, and other content. You can find us on SoundCloud and Google Play as well.
All right. And this Friday, check out episode number 12 of the Going Yard podcast. We're going to be with DJ and Mark from theglovehub.com. Check out that product. It is awesome. You're going to hear more about it, a lot about it on Friday. I think you guys are going to love it. And that pretty much wraps it up, buddy. So for Alex Simone, I'm Dan.
And I'm Tyler. See ya.
Later.